What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Boozer here. Thanks for stopping by. Hopefully, you guys having a great day so far. In today's video, we're going to be talking about this most recent interview that I had with Banana Jam from Plarium. Joining me with that interview was Drock and Palamos. Now, this interview was pretty long. It was a pretty fun one just to get a chance to chat with all these guys. And I will provide a link to the main video on Drock's channel in the description below, as well as the pinned comment. Make sure you guys check it out. Give him some love. Give everybody some love for this. It took a lot of time to put together, and obviously a little bit of extra effort on everybody's part. A special shout out here for Banana Jam for spending extra time out of office hours to make it all happen and answer our questions and just talk to us about Raid. So during our phone conversation, there was a bunch of questions being tossed around, and luckily for us, Banana was able to answer some of them. So I've compiled them here in this video here. She also revealed to us a very special champion that will be the event dungeon boss that we will be encountering very shortly. And we're going to reveal and talk about the champion here in this video also. So without further ado, let's jump into the questions that I've compiled from that interview. So first question here, do we have a new gear set from the event dungeon, or what gear set will come from the new event dungeon? Sorry. So there is no new set. She did mention that there is potentially more sets to come from the event dungeons. But for the upcoming event dungeon event, it will be pinpoint gear. So we've had pinpoint gear a couple times now. It was the first set introduced in these type of event dungeon style events, I guess. Personally speaking, I think the pinpoint set has kind of fallen off a little bit, especially with the pullback of people using like things like sheep, for example. Also, we might be seeing a slightly less bombers getting used in the near future. So I think pinpoint has lost a little bit of its initial luster. However, a two-piece for the set is still really good. A lot of people will use the two-piece on their accessories just to gain 10% speed on their fastest champions, for example. And then plus accuracy is going to be really good on your debuff champions. So this set's still going to have quite a bit of value. All right, so the next question on the list. Will there be any more free login champions during this event? So she did confirm that there will be at least one free login champion from this event. There's going to be a total of 6 new champions during this event. This kind of leads into my next question. So 6 new champions. And how will we be able to obtain these champions? So she did mention pretty much how we would be able to obtain them. One would be a free champion. One of them is going to be the boss. And then we have 2 of them, which will be the fusions. I guess, one fusion per month. So 2 of them will be from that new set of champions, which is pretty cool. It gives us an idea what to expect, at least, from a very small batch of champions. We can expect at least 2 of them to be fusions. Now, it kind of bleeds into our next question here, where Palo asked, how can we expect, or what should we expect in terms of these champions for their like guaranteed events? So should we expect them to be, guaranteed? Now we know that one's a login champion. We got 2 fusion champions. One's going to be the boss. And then will there be any other way to get these champions? Now, Banana did confirm that there's going to be perhaps at least 1 guaranteed event, perhaps more for these champions. So it's not really earth-shattering news that they're going to offer at least one of these champions in a guaranteed event. She mentioned that they are flexible with how they implement these kind of guaranteed events for the champions. So hopefully, they give us a little bit more. And she didn't specify what kind of events, whether it's Hero's Path, Deck of Fate, or Titan event or anything like that. Lastly, it does bleed into the last question here. And that's going to be, will the champions be limited or IP exclusive? Well, they're just going to be, regular champions that Plarium implements. So they're not going to be any kind of special IP. They're just going to be part of the player or the champion pool after the event for sure. I don't know if they're going to be part of the champion pool while the event is ongoing. They might put on like dedicated boosted events for the specific champions. But we've had an event kind of like this last summer with Corrosa. They had a bunch of champions like Balar, like Greyco's Turn Drake. So these champions were offered in guaranteed kind of events, and then they were just part of the the regular shard pool afterwards. Actually, I'm not even sure if it was afterwards or if it was already in the pool already. But they're non-IP exclusive, so they're just going to be part of the game. So now those are the events related. Sorry, those are the questions related to the events. Now we did ask some questions related to Raid's future. We can jump into that real quick. So first, Big Papa Drac wanted to ask, when are mythical souls coming to the shop? We kind of talked about it a little bit off camera, but Banana wasn't really able to give us a definitive answer, but it definitely leaned towards nothing coming in the shop anytime soon, but we never know, that could change. Next question here about the future of Raid. We did talk about shards, shards and shard rates a little bit. When are shard rates going to be improved, and when will we get mythical 10x, given there are more mythicals in the game than there are 10x started for void shards back in the day? So they said that there was a mythical 10x back in the day for Corrosa. You know, that's true. Otherwise, we haven't gotten any kind of 10x boost for any kind of mythical champions. And they said that they're going to be looking at the progressive event boost for some of these targeted champion events, because there's just so many champions now, and 10x and 15x, even 25x is just not really cutting it. So they're definitely looking into it. I would be hopeful that they probably increase it at some point, but knowing Plarium, I don't think they're going to be breaking any kind of crazy numbers here, allowing us to target specific champions. As for the 10x on the mythicals, again, nothing concrete from Banana. It sounded like nothing really was going to happen, at least anytime soon, but it's definitely something that they're probably looking into. Next question here, Papa Drox asking, will there ever be a filter for sorting accessory types like stone, skin, mercurial? God, we need this. So again, she said that there's constantly improvements on this new filter system for the accessories and the gear. It's just going to be new additions here and there. And they mentioned that it's going to be an ongoing process. It's never fully finished. So they're always looking for ways to improve this system. That's great to hear, of course, right? After that, my question here, I did ask them about Chimera Clash. We did have a bit of conversation about Chimera a couple weeks ago. This time I wanted to press them a little bit, see if they can offer us something. And Banana actually said that they are definitely looking into the Chimera Clash. They said that their statistics show that most people go for damage as opposed to trials, and they want to change that up. So they want Chimera to be more trial focused, which is kind of interesting. They also mentioned that they're going to look into the rewards for a Chimera, which again is huge, because the rewards for a Chimera are actually really, really bad, especially for the amount of effort that you have to put into the format. So those are the two things that she mentioned. My follow-up question to that was something along the lines of what have they done to basically give us back some of our time and give us some time-saving elements in the game. And she mentioned Chimera Clash quick battles will be coming relatively soon. She also quickly mentioned background battles will be working with Cintranos and Grim Forest and stuff like that. But I believe that was already mentioned in a previous Raid Digest. So those couple improvements will definitely help in terms of cutting down our in-game active game time. Next question here from Paulo. Is there any change for the terrible dust rework system where we can literally spend all our dust in a single piece? So if you guys didn't know, recently Scratch made a video where he showed a piece in his account where he rolled the account 50 times and he still did not get the appropriate stat that he wanted. And yeah, it's a crazy amount of bad RNG. And the answer was a definitive no. Banana basically said this is a gotcha game, and that's what you're fighting against. You're fighting against the RNG in this game, and sometimes you get really lucky, and sometimes you get really unlucky. So currently, there is no plans to implement some kind of mercy system into the re-rolls for the gear reworks. And the last question here is going to be about Hard Faction Wars. Will Hard Faction Wars difficulty ever be adjusted? Now, this question, I wasn't expecting much, but Banana actually gave us quite a bit on this. She said, yes, they are actually looking into adjusting the difficulty of Hard Faction Wars. They said, based on their analytics or whatever, that too many people, or more than expected amount of people, are struggling in Hard Faction Wars. So they're looking into retuning it. That's great. I mean, even for me, as an end game player or whatever. It is quite difficult. I don't mind it being so difficult, but in some cases it is not doable. In some cases it's just not doable. And it might not be doable for me for a while. It's really based on roster, so I can't really just brute force it. So it's really nice that they're going to look into that. Another bit of info that she gave was that they are looking into buffing Polara. Now, that was something that we did not expect. Buffing Polara, they did mention that, it's going to happen sometime in the summer. So they probably already have it in the next month or two or whatever. And that's great. That's great. So Polara, currently so much effort to go through Faction Wars, hard to get a champion that you wouldn't be useful for you. Now, she's going to get a buff, and Faction Wars is going to be dialed down a little bit. So now more people have access to a very, very strong, free to play mythical champion. Hopefully very strong. We don't know what the buff will be, but just the idea that it's going to get buffed is amazing. I quickly threw in buff to Anaxia. I don't know if she heard me, but maybe Anaxia is just too new. But yeah, hopefully eventually that will happen as well. But that's amazing. That's 2 thumbs up for sure. So those are pretty much the main kind of questions that we asked in the video. She did reveal to us the event dungeon champion. And I'm going to put the kit on screen right now. So this is the champion that she revealed to us. Rhea the Mourned. Rhea the Mourned. Apparently she is the mother of the Sylvan Watchers, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, she's an attack-based Void Affinity champion. And her kit looks pretty nice. Pretty nice. Now, if you guys looked at Sylvan Watchers, they don't have extremely good damage dealers, but lately the champions that they've been releasing have been very nice damage dealers. So in this case, she is going to be attack-based damage dealer. Let's check out the kit here real quick. It's got an A1, Anguish and Agony. Attacks one enemy twice. Each hit will ignore 15% of the target's defense, so there's no condition there. That's really nice. Heals the champion by 30% of the damage inflicted. Grants an extra turn if it kills the enemy. That's amazing. As far as A1s go, you get a heal, you get ignore defense, and you get an extra turn mechanic. You got 2 books. So even the book count is pretty low. Just 2 books, just straight damage. This could have easily been 4 books, which would have been terrible, but it's only 2 books. And then you got the A2 here on a 3-turn cooldown, 4 books there. You got a single target double hitter. Before attacking, places weaken on for 2 turns. Will ignore 15% of the target's defense and block damage. Will also ignore an additional 5% of the target's defense for each buff on this champion, up to 35%. So she can go up to 50% ignore defense if you have 7 buffs on her. It's quite a lot, but at least buffs are, controllable to some extent. But potentially 50% ignore defense reduces the cooldown of this champion's A3 skill by 1 turn and places a stun debuff on all enemies if this attack kills the target. This debuff cannot be resisted or blocked. So no accuracy required for this if you can kill a target. You do need accuracy to place the weaken. This ability looks pretty strong. Especially with the irresistible stun. It's very nice touch to this. Obviously, we don't know the multipliers or anything like that, but it looks pretty good. The A3 also looks insanely good. Attacks all enemies 3 times. It's a triple hit AoE. So think Marius triple hit. Before attacking, places increased attack on this champion, so she self-buffs with increased attack. Each hit has a 100% chance, when fully booked, of stealing 1 random buff from each enemy. Stealing the buff from each enemy. Fills this champion's turn meter by 10% for each buff stolen. This could be just crazy. The problem here is that it needs accuracy. And if you're using this champion probably in the way that it's intended to be used, a triple hit is probably used to remove Mercurial. So you're not going to be stealing any buffs when they have Mercurial stacks. So your first couple hits will just remove Mercurial stacks. But a triple hit will allow you to deal some damage to the enemies after removing the Mercurial stacks. And then, of course, you have the chance to steal the buffs afterwards. Turn meter stolen is a nice touch also. And then finally, her passive, Corrupted Majesty. This champion deals 30% more damage while they're under 3 or more buffs. Obviously, you want buffs because she's going to gain ignore defense on her A2, so more buffs the better. While this champion is under increased attack, block, buffs, and veil or perfect veil At the same time, prevent this champion's death, and their debuffs and instant effects also cannot be resisted. So she doesn't require any accuracy at all if she has these 3 buffs on. She can only apply one of them herself, so plus attack. So you have to find block debuffs and veil to get this full benefit of not requiring accuracy. So then you wouldn't even require accuracy to steal buffs, and then you don't require accuracy to land the weekend. There's a couple champions that can kind of take care of this, like in one ability. I would say something like Duchess, block debuffs with the veil. Galathier has a chance to do this as well with the revive and the block debuffs. So there's a couple ways to make this work. And then she brings plus attack herself, which kind of helps. Another way you can get veil on her is if she has the lens of intangibility. So that could give her a veil to start the round. And then all you would really need is just block debuffs. So you could have a block debuff champion go before she does. And then she can use her A3 right away, increase attack. And then she'll have all 3 of the buffs. And then she can strip off, do her triple hit, steal a bunch of stuff. And yeah, it's potentially crazy. Lastly, her aura, increase ally attack in all battles by 35%, only applies to Sylvan Watchers. So her aura kind of sucks because it's a bigger amount, it's a bigger attack percentage in all battles, but it only applies to Sylvan Watchers, which kind of sucks, honestly. Otherwise, I think this champion is pretty cool. I don't think she's busted good. We'll have to see what the multipliers look like. I think her A3 is very strong, and obviously her passive can be very nice. Prevents her death. That's very good. So you have to strip off these buffs and then kill her. But yeah, it's a very interesting kit. I don't think it's busted crazy. It's very good, but we'll have to see how hard she hits. And she's going to be the event boss, the event dungeon boss, like I said. All right, guys, so that's going to be it for this recap video. Like I said, I had a real good time with Banana Jam, Big Papa Drock, and Palamos, just hanging out, talking raid for a little bit. I want to give a big shout out to those guys for making it happen, and obviously for including me. If you guys want to check out the entire video where we go through a lot of this fun banter, we also got some costumes going on. Make sure you guys pop on by Big Papa Drock's channel, and make sure you guys check out the official video that we got uploaded. Once again, I'll leave the link in the description and the pinned comment below. But yeah, you guys are fully caught up. Like I said, we got Chimera auto battles coming. We got a buff to Polara. We got a difficulty rebalance for hard faction wars coming. And then we got a release on a brand new champion here. So really cool stuff. And yeah, let me know in the comments below what you guys think. Hopefully the video was informative and educational. Thanks for watching until the end. Appreciate you all. Make sure you guys check out the original interview video and give everybody involved a little bit of love. Thanks for watching until the end. Have a great day, and I'll see you guys in the next video.